You can't word. My word. Can't word. I can't word. Huh? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm just going to be showing you guys the brushes that I cycle through constantly, the ones that are always in my hand, the one I'm using all the time. So I have different categories for the brushes, and if you want to see which ones are in those categories, please keep watching. So to start the video off, I'm going to be starting with the category of face brushes, like foundation brushes. I am not a huge foundation brush person. I will totally be honest. I'm sure you've heard me say it in my videos, but I have come across two foundation brushes that I am obsessed with, and I always use if I'm going to be using a foundation brush. The first one I'm going to be showing you is the Morphe 2 brush. I am obsessed with this brush. I don't know what it was. I bought this set mainly because I looked at this brush that was in there and I was like, this is, I don't even know what it was. It called me, this brush. So when I got it and I realized how good the quality was, how soft it is, but also how like dense it is too. And it has like a slight, like, I don't know if you can tell from there, but it has like the slightest little angle that like grips your face like so perfectly, and it glides your foundation across your face, which is a dream. Again, like I said, I don't love foundation brushes to begin with, but if I'm going to use one, I'll sometimes use my foundation brush first and then go in with my beauty blender. But if I'm going to use one, this is the one I'm using. I love the way it looks. I love how dense it is. I love the blending that comes out of it and the softness. It's just amazing. So this is one that I've been using constantly and will never ever get rid of. The next one that I have, this came in a set and I recently just like discovered it. After I started using the Morphe brush, I saw this in one of my sets that I never ever used. Like I was using the rest of the brushes, but not this brush. So I saw the set and I was like, this kind of looks like the Morphe brush. So I bought this at iMats. It doesn't have any name on it, but it is a Royal and Langnickel brush. I don't know the name of the brush. I just got it in a set. It was always sitting there, never knew what to do with it. And then I used my Morphe brush and I was like, oh, okay, maybe it's the same thing. This one has the same blending technique. It is just as soft. It's amazing on the skin. It's just not as dense. So basically, I have both the brushes. This one I do prefer because it just has a little bit of an angle and it's a little bit more dense. This one is a little bit softer and doesn't have the angle and it's not as dense. But if this one's downstairs and I'm upstairs, I'm gonna use this one. The next category I have is bronzer brushes. So like face brushes. Realistically, you can use these for whatever you want. So I'm gonna just kind of group all my face brushes together. I love this brush. I got this brush for Christmas actually, and I bought a second one and I'm obsessed with it. This is the Real Techniques. Does it have a brush? This is the blush brush. I do not use it as a blush brush. I use it as my bronzer brush. I love it for bronzer. I love it. This is not the brush that I prefer for blush, to be honest. Like I don't love how fluffy it is for blush. I like how it kind of goes into like a little bit of a point too, and it's so soft and the bristles are beautiful on the face. It blends so nicely. I can use this with any bronzer and honestly, it just blends out like a dream. I love this with especially powder products, but this is something that has never left my hand. I am barely ever switching this out. Like all the time I'm using this brush constantly for my bronzer. Like you will barely ever see me use, I don't think since Christmas I've used a different bronzer brush unless this was upstairs and another one was down here. So this is something I definitely recommend. It came in a set at Walmart. I think it was $29.99 or $24.99, and it came with a couple other brushes and the Real Techniques beauty sponge, but this changed my application of bronzer beyond belief. And I have other bronzer blushes. I have other bronzer brushes that I do like, but honestly, this one trumps all of them. So this is one I definitely recommend you buy, and it's very affordable. I just hit myself in the head. The next bronzer brush that I have that I do love, I know people say like this company is outdated and doesn't really like show up on the radar anymore, but their brushes will forever be in my hand. I love the brushes. This is a MAC 135S brush. I love this for bronzer. I love this for bronzer. I love how soft the bristles are. They're so beautiful. They go on your skin like, oh, like a dream, like softness, and it blends so beautifully. I use these on clients. I have so many of these brushes. I have one for myself and I have a ton for clients. This was the one I was using before I used my Real Techniques brush. Really the only difference is I guess the puffiness and how this has like a little bit of a point to it that I find gives you a little bit more of a exact reach for the spot. So for example, if I'm trying to go right here, I can make like a circle with it. Like I can kind of really get that point, that direction that I want with this brush. But this, I really love the way it blends out, and I did use this a lot. This was probably the brush I used the most before the other one. So this is a definite buy as well. My next brush is for blush. I said I didn't prefer that blush brush from Real Techniques as a blush brush because I prefer something like this. This is an old, this is a very old brush, well, not very old, but old enough of a brush. This is the Sephora collection, Minnie Mouse collection that came out a while back. This is my favorite blush brush. I love this for blush. It is just, I love the whole, like, it's stiff. It's not as soft, I think, as like most brushes that people would prefer for blush, but I do love this. I love how like flat it is. It's like, you know, I can like dab it on really nice and it still blends out really beautifully. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a huge fan of Sephora brushes. Some of them are really good, but I had a lot of bad luck with Sephora brushes, but this set I really liked the way it turned out. Like, they even have a contour brush with it, but this is definitely a brush that I'm like, I need this brush in my life. I need this brush on my face all the time for blush. So this is something I would definitely recommend if you like something with like a little bit of a harder bristle and something that is really good for blending when you want to just like dab on some product. I have two brushes that I prefer for face powder. Both are, they look completely different, but I do think I get the same effect from both of them. So the first one I'm going to be showing you, this is the Bellium Tools. This is the Golden Triangle brush. I love this for powder. When I'm not putting my powder on with my beauty sponge because I like a little bit of dampness, I use this and I love the way it goes on. Like, I can just literally dab under the eye. I can go around my nose if I need to. I can go in any spots that just need it. This is a great brush because it doesn't hold on to a ton of powder, but it also wipes away the extra powder, which I really like. I know it sounds like such a ridiculous thing to say, but some brushes really hold the powder, and then when they go on your face, it doesn't sit the way you love. It just holds the powder so beautifully. It sets your face so beautifully. You can use this for blush. I know people that do. I just love it for setting powder. Like, it really just holds that loose powder and sits so beautifully on the skin. The next one I have for face powder, again, is a MAC brush. As I said, MAC, their brushes, MAC, I do love their brushes, so that's something I will never stray from. But this is a MAC 133S. I'm sure everybody's seen me use this before. It doesn't hold a lot of powder in it, and really I can just tap under the eye, tap anywhere I need to go, and honestly it just sits beautifully. It doesn't overdo it with powder on my face, so it's the same effect as the other brush. I love both of them equally. I will use whichever one is in my reach. This is the MAC 130S brush. This is my favorite brush for cream products. This is great for cream contour. This is great for a cream blush or a cream highlighter. I love this brush. It is so soft, but also it's dense at the same time. The bristles are beautiful for blending, and honestly, I could take like the darkest amount of bronzer and just like stuff it on my face, and this will blend it out so beautifully. So if you don't want to buy a beauty blender or a beauty sponge and you just want a brush that's going to blend out your cream products, this is my jam, let me tell you. I love this brush. It just makes everything blend so beautifully into your skin. The next brush I have is a highlighter brush. This is my favorite highlighter brush. I bought this at IMATS. This is a Royal Langnickel. This is the Balm 35. I think that's how you say it. It just says BOM, so I'm guessing Balm. This is a complexion brush, they call it. First off, I just love the brush, like how gold it is, and like it has a little point on the end. Like, I mean, it's kind of, the gold is coming off on the end because it's so old. But I love this brush. I love how it has like that slight angle to it that meets at like the tip, but it's still round and really soft. This is a go-to for highlighter for me if I'm not using my beauty sponge. I love how it like just sits on my face and I can just glide my highlighter on. Something like, I notice a lot of highlighter, not a lot of highlighters, but a good amount of highlighters, when you put them on with a brush, sometimes they sit on your face, like just sit. Like, I want a highlighter that's gonna like melt into my skin and make me just look like a glow, like it's part of my skin. I don't want something that's gonna sit on my skin and just look like, oh wow, she plopped that on her face. I don't want that. That's not my vibe. I like blending. We all know this by now. So this is a brush that I will tell you, no matter what highlighter I grab with this brush, my highlighter will forever just glide on my face. It just has the perfect angle to like grab that indent right here and just grab that highlighter and drag it across your face without any sitting, any muddiness. I hate muddiness. So this is a must. My next two brushes are considered concealer brushes, but these are my two favorite concealer brushes. One is for blending and one is more of a dense concealer brush that's just like more harsh and less for blending. So this one here is the Bellium Tools 937 brush. I have so many of these concealer brushes. I love them. They're great for cutting your crease on your eyes. They're great for applying concealer under your eyes to give yourself like a lift if you want to just get right in that corner and then put a little bit at the side, at the outer corner here. You can carve your eyebrow out with this. You can add it to problematic spots. This is a great concealer brush. The thing I hate with a lot of concealer brushes is when they're like this and dense. A lot of times when you put concealer on them, the bristles stick together and then you get that like streaky mark on your skin that just forever stays there. This does not give you that. This is such a soft brush that even when there's concealer on it, you don't get those marks, which I absolutely love. I got this at Walmart actually. I'm pretty sure that's where this one's from. It says Still Spa Essentials. I think that's what it's called, and I'm sorry that I don't actually know, but I love this brush. I bought this, like I said, at Walmart. It's just like a fluffy concealer brush. It's a little dense, but this is a great brush for blending out concealer. I don't know what it is. If I put any concealer on my face, this literally will blend it out like a dream. I love the way it looks. I love how it sits. And honestly, I can apply concealer with this too and still be able to blend it out. This is such a good blending brush. I don't know, honestly, I own so many of these. I love them so much. They just sit so beautifully when you apply concealer, and when you blend it out, it just makes it, like I said, melt into your skin. I love when makeup just melts in and doesn't look like it's just sitting on your face. Both of these really like give me the vibe I want when I do my makeup. So I have certain eye brushes that I will stick with for life and never go away from. The next 4 brushes I'm going to show you, I'm just going to do them as more of a bulk situation and just tell you what the brushes are. So they're all blending brushes, like fluffy blending brushes. These are my favorite brushes for your crease, just to like blend. They're so beautiful the way they blend out. So I have the Colourpop, this is the E2 brush. This brush blends like a dream. I love these brushes. They're amazing, so soft. They have the perfect like round edge to like blend out your crease, blend out anything. I love the way these brushes look. I also have, for blending brushes, this is the Morphe this is the Morphe M573 brush. I love this one. I love this one. I love this one. I love this brush. I love how it blends out. And it's very similar to my next brush, which is a MAC. This is a 224S brush. All 3 of these brushes give you the same effect. I never stray from these brushes. I love these brushes. I always start my makeup off with these brushes. They blend so beautifully. You never have a harsh edge unless you want it, which is where this brush usually comes in. This is my, can't even see the word anymore, but I think it's a 217S brush. It's a 217S brush. This is a MAC 217 brush. I love this brush. This is for more of a concentrated look. Like if you want to go into the crease, or you want to go into your outer corner and you want to just like have more pigment in one area. So this I would use for more concentration, but also it gives you a very good blended look as well. I love all 4 of these brushes. These are my main, these are my brushes. I will never leave home without these brushes if I need to do an eyeshadow look. I own so many of them. I love them to the moon and back. You have no idea. These are my eyeshadow babies. These, they just like fit into the crease area so beautifully and blend out so beautifully. If you just, you should buy these brushes. They're just so good. Next, this is a Real Techniques Deluxe crease brush. I love this brush. I don't use it in my crease, actually. I use it to blend out the edges. I love the way it blends out the edges. I could go in with my transition shade and just like really go around my edges, especially if I'm in a rush and I just really want to like, be quick, put in a lot of pigment and then blend it out afterwards. I go in with my transition shade and I can really blend out the edges with this brush. I just love the way it looks. It blends so beautifully, but it is a little bit big to me for a crease brush. So I personally would not be going in with a brush this size into my crease, whereas these ones are just perfectly fluffy and beautiful, and they just stop any patchiness. They're my dream. These brushes, they're my life. The last couple brushes that I have left I have these 2, which this one is a Colourpop E10 brush, and this one is a Morphe 431 brush. These are my favorite brushes for going under the eye or doing an inner highlight or putting highlight on my brow bone. These brushes are so precise and so perfect. This one's really old, so it looks a little crazy. These brushes are amazing, so dense. You can make it look like you have an under eye eyeliner, or you can blend out so easily with these brushes as well. Like it looks so dense, and it does have a little bit of a point at the edge, but it blends out so perfectly under the eye, and it blends out your highlighter in your inner corner. These are great for blending under eye and basically any small area you want to blend out. The last 2 brushes I have, this one here I use for eyeliner. This is the MAC eyeliner brush. I don't know what the number is. It doesn't have a number on it anymore. I got this a million years ago. My mom gave it to me when she first taught me how to use eyeliner, and I love this brush. I don't know what it is. I love this brush. It is so perfect if I want to use a gel pot and I want to do my wing liner. It is just a dream. Like, I love this brush like you wouldn't even believe. Even if I put it on, like if I use shadow to do a wing line, this is the brush I'm reaching for at all times. I have a couple of these again, but I always just go back to this really old one because I don't know, I almost hit myself again. But it just fits in my hand so perfectly and it just glides so perfectly. I don't know. Sometimes the more you use them, the better they get. So that might be sick or weird, but it is so true. This is a Morphe M408 brush. This brush, I love this brush. It is also a good one for under the eye, or it's good for smudging liner on top or on the bottom. It's just so dense and it's like wide. I really like that. And it's still really soft and fluffy in a sense, which is really nice. You get a lot of shape with this. Like, you can really go in and blend out like a liner, a shadow, just to make it like look like liner. You can go under the eye with it. Like, this is a very universal brush and I really, really love this brush. All these brushes that I showed you today are very universal brushes. These are the brushes, like I said, they're the ones I cycle through, the ones I keep buying, the ones I'm obsessed with, the ones I'm always reaching for, that are always in front of my face. These brushes, like I said, they're also very your own opinion. Brushes are your own opinion, just like makeup. If you like a certain brush, you want to use it for bronzer, for blush, for highlight, whatever you want, you can do whatever you want with brushes. These are just my opinion. These are the brushes I recommend when I recommend brushes to people. So these are the brushes that I love and I cycle through. I hope that you found this video very helpful. If you like this video and you want to see more, please like, subscribe, and comment down below. And as always, guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.